Bar staff, have you ever had a man use the safe word drink to escape? And how often does that happen? I've unintentionally used the safe word drink before. I went to a bar with my now fiancée and ordered 2 Manhattans, which was apparently the safe word. Bad choice in my opinion, but in the bar's defense, not exactly the place you would normally order one. I was very nicely asked to come to the side of the bar by them asking me what kind of bourbon I wanted, and the bartender asked if I needed a cab or was in a dangerous or uncomfortable situation. Using an actual drink as the safe word is an awful idea. To be fair, at least they asked him if he needed a cab or was in danger. They didn't just straight up assume he was. But yeah, a real drink instead of like a house special drink is probably not the greatest plan. I used to do bartending and do the front desk at a hotel. One of my regulars was in for the week, real nice guy, very friendly and happily married. But we also had a cuckoo bird lady staying with us that week. She was decent looking, but definitely had those crazy eyes. They were both at the bar and they were talking for a while. Him being a nice guy, I guess he didn't just want to outright blow her off. As they're both leaving, he stops at the front desk to say what's up and we talk for a bit, while the girl's just standing behind him. He shoots me a look that says, "Get me out of this situation," as he starts walking towards the elevator, with her right behind him. Once she gets in the elevator, I called him back to ask a question about Detroit because I was going there next week. He got off the elevator, but so did she. Then I told the lady there was a problem with the card she had on file. There wasn't, but it gave him a chance to slip away. He called me thanking me a few minutes later. Definitely had those crazy eyes. Funny how unspecific that statement is, yet I know exactly what you're talking about. Lights on but no one's home. Or lights on and everybody's home. When you come knocking, you don't know who's going to answer the door. I was with my best friend and his boyfriend at our favorite gay bar one Saturday night, and ordered drinks from a newer bartender who had a really serious crush on my best friend. We ordered our opening shot of a buttery nipple, which is always our opening shot because, little bit of backstory, when I got my nipples pierced, my best friend decided that we had to celebrate with that shot right after. So it's been a tradition ever since. It's a very weak shot, but right after we switched to our vodka tonics. And all three of us are pretty messed up. I don't remember much about that night, and only pieced it together afterwards from friends and video. I ended up just in my bra and jeans in my car with a blanket on me after 3 fairy drag mothers found me trying to unlock my car door. They got me safely inside the car, covered me with a blanket, and tossed my keys under the spare tire wheel well. They then used redial on my phone to call my husband. They thought I was just drunk. My best friend, though, was found by the police officer who worked outside the bar, crawling in gravel beside the nearby railroad tracks, trying to find his way home. His boyfriend ended up having a seizure on the dance floor and had an ambulance called. They had to intubate him ASAP after he stopped breathing and his throat started swelling. The officer who found my best friend knew the three of us well, since we were regulars, and found it suspicious that we would all be so fucked up when we had just gotten there an hour before, and had never left bombed. So he called it in and alerted the owners and management. We didn't find out until later that night that said bartender was stalking my best friend and had roofied the shots in the hope that he'd be able to get my friend alone and make sure the other 2 of us never went looking for him. He got arrested and ended up getting 3 years. My friend's roommate was the bouncer at our college bar. My friend had just broken up with his girlfriend, and she wanted him back. She kept threatening to make an R claim against him if he didn't get back together with her. After a month of not talking to her, he thought the situation was done with. I ended up seeing him at the bar one night, and we're just drinking and shooting the shit. Out of nowhere, his ex appears and starts flirting with him. We're both frozen in fear because he's got to walk this fine line of not pissing her off and not getting back together with her. Another bouncer bursts in and yells, "I told you to get the fuck out. What's wrong with you two?" He leads us to the back, exit-only door where my friend's roommate was standing. The roommate apparently saw the ex creeping in and had his back. He sent one bouncer to kick us out, I was let back in later, and another bouncer to stall the crazy ex so that he could escape. Pure bro behavior. Had this happened to me years back in a nightclub I managed. Only time I've ever experienced it, so I wouldn't say it happens often. Turned out the girl he was with was an escort, and she had threatened him, saying guys were waiting outside to beat the crap out of him unless he paid up several hundred more than what they'd agreed earlier. We immediately got the police involved instead of just escorting him out. She went absolutely batshit at my staff when she clocked something wasn't right, smashed some glasses, and stormed out of the venue. Police arrived, took CCTV footage and statements. She was picked up later that evening. No idea how far it went or what happened though. As far as we could tell, there were never any bad guys waiting outside. My guess is it was just some scam she tried to pull on her clients. Who knows? All I care about is that none of my cubs got hurt. I used to bartend for a gay bar. One night, I had a group of guys who seemed to be having a great time. After a couple rounds of shots, one sticks his head behind the bar and asks for an angel shot. I bring him behind the bar and into the office. He was with a couple of coworkers and their friends. He knew the coworkers were gay and would be taking him to a gay bar, but apparently things started to get out of hand when they began trying to grope him. I tell him that he can chill in the back room for as long as he needs. He hands me a handful of crumpled ones and asks for a burger. We didn't really serve food besides crappy bar snacks, so I hand him back his money and give him a couple bags of chips. About half an hour later, I go to check on him and notice that he's really fucked up, to the point where he can't even talk. Definitely drugged with something. Luckily, all his asshole friends were still there drinking, so I call the cops. He's rushed away in an ambulance immediately, and I shut down the bar so the cops and I can comb through the security footage. We managed to catch 2 of the guys he's with putting some powder into his beer. Both of them were arrested. The other 2 were somewhere else at the time and were let go. When I was in the Netherlands in a place called Eindhoven, I was working for a smaller bar with a mixed crowd. For both men and women, we had safe drinks. For women, it was virgin tequila, for men, virgin vodka. In total, I saw these ordered 2 times. The one that sticks with me the most was Christmas Eve. This night, we had mostly gay guys hanging around in the bar and some students. After a while, one of the students started getting a lot of attention from one of the gay guys. He was putting his hand on the student's leg, asking a lot of too personal questions, and groping his rear, even when the student told him that he was straight and not interested. This got the bartender that overheard this on alert, and he put up a napkin on the bar near where he was sitting with a red exclamation mark so all the staff knew something was up. The student goes to the bathroom, and the gay guy orders a round of vodka shots. Bartender didn't see the student, so poured the order and placed it on the bar. Student comes back, and the guy tells him to help him empty the glasses. Student starts drinking, and then suddenly looks very pale and sweaty as soon as the vodka's done. The guy smiles and walks to the bathroom. Student looks worse by the second, and asks for a virgin vodka. At this moment, 2 of the bartenders get him to one of the other bars owned by my boss and call an ambulance. The rest of the crew created a diversion for the guy as soon as he came from the bathroom, telling him that the student left for a phone call. Ambulance noticed the student seemed to be drugged, and the guy was drinking something else by then. Watered-down cocktail or something. And we alerted the police, who found 4 tubes of GHB on the guy. In the end, the guy was arrested and the student was rushed to the hospital. That's messed up. Ingesting GHB when you're wasted can kill you. 8 years working at a brewery, and this is the only time I've had to actually save a guy, besides the funny ones where I've helped him slip out of an awkward situation. So this guy meets a girl at the bar. They get drinks, and 10 minutes later, round 2, seems normal, they appear to be hitting it off. Out of nowhere, this gal starts flipping the fuck out. Couldn't understand most of what was coming out of her mouth. Screaming about this guy trying to spike her drink. Phone in hand, threatening to call the cops, involving other women and shit. Had to settle this lady down for a sec and grasp what was going on, but no dice. She would not chill out. She runs out of the bar at full speed and takes off in her car. Never saw her in the bar again. I know this guy didn't do anything, but had to talk to the cops anyways, make a report and all that. Couple weeks pass by. Same guy at the bar is chatting with me. On the TV, local news, comes up that woman, arrested for assaulting a guy whom she accused of the same thing and then trying to flee. Apparently, it was her way of getting free fucking drinks. What's wrong with some people? I was at a club some years ago when a girl came and sat next to me. It was annoying because I was already talking to another girl who got scared off because of this one. This girl starts talking and whatever. Couple minutes in, she says, "Oh, so I was sitting here and lost my grandma's $50,000. Can you give it to me?" I immediately knew that was super fucked. So I said, "Oh, come with me," and marched her straight to the bouncer. Told him this girl was claiming that I have her money and she's scaring me. Immediately, the bouncer and the girl start yelling at each other. Seems like they'd met before. She storms off, and the bouncer turns to me and tells me that she's coked out and always causing shit. I work in a couple different small cocktail bars in Sydney, Australia. Prime date night joints. We have something called Ask for Angela, where the idea is you just ask the bar staff if Angela's working tonight, and that'll be the hint to keep an eye on things or even call a cab. I've only had one customer, man or woman, ever use it. A nice young guy on a date with an older gentleman. The issue was threefold. The venue at the time had quite a few backpackers on working holidays that were completely unaware of this protocol. We had a lovely Chinese girl who went by Angela working that night, and that the date was going poorly in such a fashion that, to the untrained eye, it just looked like two work acquaintances having a drink. There was that little chemistry between these guys. Apparently, the older gentleman followed the younger one into the bathroom and copped a feel, prompting the ask for Angela. It was a huge runaround, to be honest. It took quite a while for a native English speaker to tune into the argument behind the bar where Angela was explaining that she had no idea who this guy was, so eventually he got some help. He ordered 2 cocktails at the bar, asked if Angela was working tonight, saying she made them the best. We ended up ordering an Uber for him while he feigned an emergency, and brought their drinks out in time that the older bloke sort of felt obligated to stay and finish them, just as the guy's Uber arrived. Unfortunately, a lot of bars have joined the Ask for Angela campaign, it's government-sponsored, and posting signs in the ladies' rooms, then called it a day. No staff training. This is because it puts you on a government list of safe bars, and, well, nobody can give up free publicity. Very disappointing. I also believe it needs to better extend to men on port dates as well. I rarely see the posters in the men's room, just unisex and ladies. Worked in a pub in Ireland as a bouncer. Not a common thing here to have a get-me-out-of-here shot. So no signs are that, but there was some Facebook post calling them angel shots that did its rounds. Girls would say they've got to go to us, and we'd know. No code words or shite. Anyway, one night I'm doing my thing at this nice bar, and the guy approaches me in front of a group of friends being a bit boisterous, from apparently a fancy restaurant across the road, and says that he needs an angel shot. So we let them in, and I hold him there for questioning his ID, as his friends make fun of me and him, as I'm 22. This guy was maybe 35-ish, and I was a kid telling a man no. So they hang about for him, making it difficult for me to ask him directly what's going on, and I tell him that, no, he's had too much tonight. I hail a taxi down, and he pretends to resist getting in, so I basically pick him up and carry him into the taxi. He slips a 50 into my jacket pocket discreetly, and the taxi goes off. Nothing big. 2 days later, I'm working again. Same bunch of guys from the restaurant come over. The angel shot guy isn't there. 3 days later, shot guy comes in, but very early, and explains it all to me. Turns out, the guys were doing coke, and a girl was hard in the bathroom. He said at first she was interested in going with one of them, but then 2 guys came in. Then she wanted out and couldn't. This guy tried to interject, but couldn't do anything, and then felt uncomfortable. Didn't want to be a part of it, so he wanted to leave, but was told that if he did, his buddies would hurt him. And the reason they all returned 2 days later was another get-together for his going-away drinks that he didn't attend, obviously. Found out the guys were then charged a month later, but I can't find public info on it anymore. Only time I've ever had to use the get-me-out-of-here shot. Unfortunately, not really sure what happened to the lass. It does kind of annoy me as it's not my place. I did get to see the police report, but I didn't see anything besides what the guy told me, so I wasn't in the loop per se, and I never got any details from it. I just hope she was alright. So guys, thank you for listening. That's it for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time.